right, we're officially past the experimentation phase of pocket rings plus A6 techo, and I'm ready to declare my love that this is my current system. So we're gonna do the deep dive on my A6 Hobonichi techo today. So as you can see, I have a little bit of a different cover, I think, from the last time that I showed you this planner. This was my last purchase of January, and I do not know how to pronounce it, so please correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but this is from Hobonichi's spring 2024 release, and I believe it's called the Tragon, Tragen, and it is I would say a polyester trifold cover in black. And this was one of those things where I saw the release and I was like, gosh, even if I'm not using a Hobonichi this year, this is going to be one of those covers that I'm going to regret not picking up. So was it an impulsive purchase? Probably. Am I glad I followed through? Definitely. So I think there's a lot of reviews about this cover out here, so I won't go like too much in depth into it, but it's definitely a polyester feel. I think I had expected it to feel more like canvas, but it's not off-putting. I enjoy it, but it has a little bit of a sound to the material. It has a really nice slip pocket. The big thing is this zipper pocket. I can fit like my watercolor palette in here. Most pens fit in here as well. Really nice to have. Has a really nice magnetic closure. They warn you not to put your credit cards in here. I think that probably pertains more if you're using the Weeks one because the magnet is relatively strong. I find it to be a satisfying magnet. And on the inside, you do get several card slots, and I've just got a Polaroid in there currently. In the back, there is a secretarial pocket and then a tiny pen loop that I have my pen clipped to. This is my Sailor Pro Gear Slim in Nebula, by the way. She's probably my holy grail fountain pen that I've had for a few years now. Absolutely, absolutely love her. So inside this cover, I have the planner to talk about. This is my A6 Hobonichi Techo Original English Edition for 2024. I ordered this, I think, directly from Hobonichi, if I remember right, on November 1st. And this is a new version this year. It's the English edition techo that has like the Japanese style on the inside. So the 5 check marks at the top, your time section, the invisible line, and then your quotes across the bottom. And it features a different color for each month, which I know some of us love and some of us hate. And I'm definitely team love when it comes to the different color grids. I think it just, I don't know, things get really boring when it's all one color throughout the year. It adds a little bit of spice and it forces me to use some of my different colored deco and washi tapes and things like that. So this is currently serving as the role as my memory keeper for 2024. I used an A6 Techo in 2023, the Avec, and I really enjoyed memory keeping in it. And since I moved down to pocket rings, I can get a fair amount of information on my little horizontal dailies. They're really stinking cute, by the way. But compared to how I was using my personal size Filofax, I am not really able to tell the full story on a daily basis like I would like to, so I've been supplementing whatever I can get in here with the A6 Techo. And truly really liking it because it sort of made my memory keeping feel a bit more concrete. Even though I keep and archive all of my inserts that I'm using in my ring planner, there's just something about flipping through a bound book, a Hobonichi in particular, that just is very satisfying. So I'm really enjoying this so far. In the front, I did a little baby cover page. The foil stickers are from Amazon, and this constellation one is from my Patreon. I haven't done anything with the year at a glance. The future log, I think, is what this is intended to be. I always use as an index. It's what I've been doing since I discovered Hobonichi in 2019. I did start this February 1st officially, and I have been backfilling January, so no one's surprised. But I just write down the main topic about what I journaled about or what happened that day, and then eventually, as I get further into the year, I've historically added a color code via Mildliner. I don't know if I'm going to do that again this year, but I might. We will see. After that, monthly spreads. This is what January looks like. I did backfill this based off my monthly from my pocket rings. I never know what to do with the extra monthly, but I don't like leaving them blank. So I had fun just kind of referencing the key things, putting down some stickers and doing a little bit of memory keeping. It's fun, it's meditative, it's not necessary by any means. This washi tape is Starbucks/Travelers Company collab. It was sent to me as a freebie from a friend, and yeah, I backfilled this on one of my Patreon live streams, and I really love how it turned out. I think it's super cute, and it's rare that we see me use pink, so you know, mark your planners now. This is what February is looking like so far. I was going day by day and filling it in, but I think I've decided I actually prefer just coming in at the end of the week or the end of the month. And doing it all at once, which is how I did it in 2023 in my Avec. Because I don't need these spreads functionally, I want them to be aesthetic. So I think doing it day by day is just a little bit too unpredictable and hard for me to make things feel cohesive. So I'm going to fill this out at the end of the month as part of my monthly wrap-up journaling routine, and we'll see. I have some ideas. I've thought about maybe doing like a doodle a day challenge or a sticker a day, a memory a day, gratitude, things like that. I'll probably play with these throughout the year. I'm not married to this concept, but that's the general idea. After the monthlies, you do get your turning a page to the new year spread, and I always have intentions of using them and I never do, but I did print out a photo at least, so slightly more intentional. But I want to write just sort of like a, hey, introducing me early in the year, and then do this again if I keep up with this in subsequent years. Thought about maybe hand lettering my goals over here as well, but I've been kind of taking my goals more quarter to quarter, so I don't know if I necessarily want to write that out, but I do want to put down like a picture and like set some notebook intentions and do a little introduction just as a capsule of who I was in early 2024. In this planner, I'm sure you've seen it before, you do get a full page per day, including weekends, which is chef's kiss. But at the beginning of each month, there's like this blank page that I never have a consistent way of using. I've used them a plethora of ways, but what I've decided this year is I'm gonna print out my doodle perks for my Patreon and put this here so I can kind of record my art throughout the year. And these were the perks for January of 2024. I'm still in the process of backfilling these. I did print off a bunch of pictures and just kind of glue them in. I'm printing pictures on my Kikuyo business paper. It's a 64 GSM paperweight, so it's pretty thin, and it has some good structure to it. It's really not great print quality, guys. Like, if I show you super close, like if you were to print on actual photo paper, it's gonna look way better, I would assume, or even just like a premium matte sticker paper, which I've done in the past. But these are really thin, and I've been finding that I'm printing off a lot more photos in the like more recent times than I have in historical use with Hobonichis. So I wanted to stick with a thinner paper, even though I think low-key one of my intentions is to have a really, really fluffy Hobonichi techo at the end of the year. It's part of the reason why I went for the full year when I made this order originally at the end of last year. So we'll see. So I did backfill January, as I mentioned, and I just kind of referenced my personal rings pages and did pretty much a direct copy, added maybe one more sentence or two just so that I would have a single record. I am probably like one of the crazy people who will backdate an entire planner if she had the time and her hand didn't hurt, but I did tell myself I'm not backfilling anything post January. So backfilling more than 2 months is just, it's too much. It genuinely hurts my hands. But moving in on February 1st to this, and now that I know that it's gonna stick, I'm like, okay, Lindsey, you can do 30 days, because how unsatisfying would it be to have January blank if I actually, and you know, this is hilarious because it's me, but if I actually use this for an entire year, I want it to be full. So I have been backfilling it, reprinted pictures and things like that. My personal rings pages are still intact in case I decide, nope, I'm ready to be all in one agenda again, but I'm feeling really settled in this. These pages take me on average 15 minutes, less if I am not less if I have printed out photos. These where I'm kind of like painting and drawing are typically would take a little bit longer than these that are mostly text, but I find it to be really sustainable. I like jokingly have been saying I had to walk in my personal ring so that I could run in the Hobonichi techo, because having everything back in one bound book or one organizer and personal rings really helped me establish a good routine of planning and memory keeping in specific times. And I'm finding that even though I'm doing 2 books, I've separated things back out. I'm really consistent with this. It doesn't take a lot of time. I'm not dreading it. This in fact just lives on my bedside table, and that's where she stays. I print out pictures and I do my journaling, and my phone's plugged away in the other room, and then it's doing that same thing where it's triggering like it's time for bed and I've disconnected from the screen, and yeah, it's working out basically. I'm able to maintain this. I don't think I could balance 3 books, so because work is in here is probably the reason that this is working. If I needed to have a separate work planner again, 3 I can't juggle is basically what it comes down to. Can't do 3 things. I can balance 2 things, especially because this is pretty low effort, and if I get behind, I don't mind doing catch-up days. But yeah, right now I'm really loving the combo, and this is like the Goldilocks amount of space for me. Honestly, I can print out pictures at a decent size, and I'm never like struggling to fill a page and never wishing I had more room. It's like perfect, and I'm loving it for that. These were February's perks, by the way. And yeah, I like that I can print out multiple photos. I love that the pages are a bit more kind of square versus like tall, skinny rectangle compared to the personal size. And I'm loving it. I typically do black ink throughout the entire planner. I, for the most part, have used 2 different pens. I started using my trusty Pilot Vanishing Point and extra fine inked with the atramentis archive ink, but recently, in an endeavor to actually use my sailors a bit more, I put my same black ink in this one, and this is a medium fine tip, and I have started journaling with that guy and really liking it. My handwriting looks really different with this pen. I'm still trying to like get it in the zone, so maybe you guys can tell. I feel like my handwriting is messier with the Sailor compared to my Vanishing Point, but maybe that's just because it's bolder. I don't know. But it's good practice. I'm trying to get my handwriting to look a little bit better with that pen, and she's too pretty not to use, and it's the same black ink that I have in there, and it just sits in here, so I can use my pens to the fullest here. I am using some of the back pages, but not all of them. I figure I'll just kind of flip through them and add to it as I find like, oh, it would be nice to record XYZ, but most of the time, most of my habit tracker things I prefer to keep in my rings because that's where I'm going to keep up with it, but I am using a couple things back here, so let me get to it. Yep. So the English edition came with 2 spreads of favorites, which felt like a lot. So I've decided I'm going to record media reviews that aren't books. So we went to a concert. I had an extra photo, so I just put it in here. It covers a couple of these, but I don't intend to go to like this many shows this year. We saw a play. We went and saw, well, it's a musical, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which was hilarious, by the way. And I did a little mini review of that and dated it. So I think it's gonna be kind of fun to play with printing out photos, or maybe I have a ticket stub or something, and just kind of collaging and then filling them in, because I don't think we'll go to that many concerts across these 2 pages, or musicals, movies, things like that. We really only go to maybe like 1 a quarter. So I thought it was a unique use of space there and wanted to share that. The My 100 is blank. I never know what to do for the My 100, and anything I like remotely think of doing it for, I'd rather track in my rings, so it might just be perpetually blank. We'll find out. And the only other thing I am using is the 365 checkoff page, and I'm using my zebra mile liners to indicate what planner I was in for the year. So the green was for personal rings, the gray was passport, and the blue is pocket rings. And I think it'll be kind of see what we use. If I use another planner, I'll pull out another mild liner. I need to make a key at some point, but right now we're only at the 3 things, so hopefully it sticks to that. And then I do like to use the gift log. I will record gifts I receive back here. It's just really fun to kind of keep these as something I've always done in my other Hobonichis. So glad that they kept this in the English edition as well. I think they have a lot of these spreads as printables on the Hobonichi website. So I think I might print another one of these out, paste it over this one, and then track gifts that my husband receives as well, so we could kind of have like a compliment. Last thing I guess is the paper. I did a light pen test. I in general, I would say don't love watercoloring on it as much as I did the old Tomoe River paper. And my Pilot Multi-Bowl and Fine is like borderline bleeding through. So that kind of was X-nayed out, and that was a pen that I used to really enjoy on Tomoe River paper, but that's okay. I'll use it in other places. But otherwise, I pretty much just stick to my atramentis archive ink and my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen in here, and then a light wash of watercolor, and everything is holding up pretty well. Haven't had any bleed through incidents, things like that. So my go-to tools are still really working on this paper, so that is really good to see. I always get a little bit nervous anytime, you know, paper switches and things like that. But yeah, so that's my A6 Hobonichi Techo, my memory keeper, and my little nighttime companion. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you are also using a Hobonichi Techo, and maybe if you want to see a journal with me in this or something. I'm trying to think of fun ways to show it, but we'll do some flip throughs throughout the year, assuming she sticks around. But anyway, if you've made it this long, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week.